Welcome back to another episode of the Game Boy Quest.
Team Canada.
What's up, guys? I'm SeeJayAre, and welcome back to another episode of the Game Boy Quest. I apologize for the long delay on these Game Boy Quest videos. I've had 4 different little piles sitting right on my desk here that I shoot on, which I believe looks a little crooked. I meant to fix that before I started this. I noticed it last video. I don't know if that's better, but I've had a couple piles of games sitting here for like 6 months that I've been meaning to get to do these videos again. So in today's video, we're going to feature, I don't know, 10 or 12 games from 2 different people. So a quick recap on what the Game Boy Quest is. I am going for a complete Game Boy collection. Ever since I modded my original Game Boy, some of you who follow me on Instagram have seen some of my mods. I put a backlight into, or I put backlights into Game Boys. This is the one that I use. It's like the old puke green backlit console. I've kind of got a new love for Game Boy games, so I decided to go for a complete collection. And with the help of you guys, I think we're just over halfway now. I think I'm around 260-ish carts. I can't remember what the final number is, but you guys have been fantastic. If you have any Game Boy games that you'd like to trade or sell, message me on Facebook is the easiest way, or Instagram will work too. Both links are in the description below. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. I am looking for all kinds of stuff from common to uncommon stuff. So thank you to everyone that's been helping me out with this. And getting right into this episode, like I said, 2 different packages here. I couldn't remember who sent this one, but it's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Matthew, this is from Matthew Lewis. Thank you, Matthew. There's a link to his Instagram in the description below. It's jellybelly_mk1. So I finally figured out, I've been going through my Facebook messages I've been neglecting for 5 months, so I apologize to all the people who've messaged me on Facebook. I'm catching up on all that in the next 2 days, so check your inbox. I probably have replied. If you've been waiting for me to reply to a message, I apologize. So thank you very much, Matthew. Jellybelly_mk1 on Instagram. Check out the link in the description below. He sent a copy of Bill and Ted's Excellent Game Boy Adventure. Now, I passed this off as just a Snickle Fritz game. It's actually not bad. It's like a puzzle platformer. You're trying to collect some kind of glowing orbs, and you're being chased by a little mini chibi Abraham Lincoln I saw, Billy the Kid, Einstein. You're kind of like jumping on platforms and climbing up vines and stuff like that. Maybe a little Donkey Kong-ish. I'm trying to think of what I can compare it to, but you'll see the gameplay up here. It's not a bad game at all. I actually kind of enjoyed playing it, so thank you very much, Matthew Lewis. Big package here from a longtime supporter of the channel. He's helped me out with my Dreamcast collection also. That's Collecting with Corey Zamer. Check out Collecting with Corey on YouTube. He's one of the hardest working YouTubers I know. He's posting constant videos, so I'll post a link to Collecting with Corey. If you're not already following him on YouTube, go check him out. I'm going to get to the extra stuff that he sent me right away. I opened the package and I saw this. Look at how cool that is. I think I mentioned in one of his videos he was wearing one. And I was like, oh, I always wanted a Dreamcast shirt. And he sent me one. So, quick cut and I'm going to throw this on. All right, perfect fit. You nailed the size. I think this is an XL. And this will be nice. I'll wash it once. It'll shrink up a little bit. And it'll still fit perfectly. Nice length, too. So I got to give a shout out to his buddy here who owns this print shop. It's called Scoreless Printing and Designs, LLC. Thank you for your purchase. I believe Corey's in Connecticut. I could be wrong. Sorry, Corey, if I'm wrong. Scoreless Printing and Designs. You can find them. I'll leave a link to Scoreless's Facebook page in the description below. It's at Scoreless Printing on Facebook. And then the eBay seller is Dragons 257. So I'm not sure. I'm guessing they sell these on eBay. So go check it out if you're interested in one of these. Corey, thank you so much for sending this. This is amazing. As you know, the Dreamcast is my favorite collection of all time. And Corey sent me a big stack of games. I remember for that he didn't want any money for. I had to like talk him into taking some money. So Corey's a fantastic dude. Do me a personal favor and go check out Corey's channel. Give him a subscribe. You won't be disappointed. He's got a cool channel. Okay. Getting to the stack of games that Corey sent me. A nice stack. At first glance, it's a little bit underwhelming. No, I mean, that's totally fine. I'm just as happy to get a Snicklefritz game in the collection that I need. But there's some really fun games in here. After playing through them, I'm like, there's a lot of games that I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to be good, but it is good. So I'm gonna start out with Game & Watch Gallery. This is a great little game that you can find for like $2 to $5 at most places. I think it's got 5 games on it. What is it? Oil Panic, Fire. Oh, I'm gonna forget them all. But basically, it's a collection of Game & Watch games. There's the original Game & Watch, the way it was presented. The Game & Watches are little LCD games that came before the Game Boy. I have one over there. They're actually really fun. There's the original, and then there's actually a new graphic style for each game. So 10 games in total, I believe, on there. Really a nice package, actually. Next up is Ninja Boy. It's okay. It's a beat 'em up. It's nice that it's like it's a free roaming beat 'em up. You're not just on a 2D plane. You can actually, it's more of like a top down perspective with some RPG elements, I believe. Didn't play a whole lot of it. It seemed okay. I need to put more time into this one. That's Ninja Boy. Spider-Man 3. This is a really bad game. The graphics are terrible. I could barely even see what was going on. The controls just as bad. The sound, there was really no redeeming qualities for this game. Now, I don't know if I can't remember if 1 and 2 were on the Game Boy. But they had to be better than this. You would think by 3 they would have refined things. It's a platformer. You're jumping, kicking. You're trying to jump and trying to kick, I should say. It's really not a good game. Out of Gas. I know Gamer Alley just picked this one up. He enjoyed it quite a bit. Pretty fun game. Kind of hard to explain. It controls a little bit like Asteroids. Like you're pushing the gas, go one way, and then you're turning to rotate, and you're kind of still spinning and back this way. Basically, you're constantly moving like this. Coasting, kind of. I don't know if that makes any sense. And then you're shooting these little things, and once you've shot them all, you move on to the next level. It's kind of hard to explain, but Out of Gas is a pretty good game, actually. Really, and I'm enjoying this one. This one, however, is one of my favorite games on the Game Boy now. This is Tetris Attack. I've actually been playing it on my modded SNES Classic quite a bit. My wife's staring at me through the window. She can't keep her eyes off me. Can't say I can blame her. Tetris Attack is a fantastic game. I've been playing it on the SNES Classic with Kirby's Avalanche. I love puzzle games. This system right here is so well suited for puzzle games and like puzzle platformers, which there's more of in here. This really ended up being a great pile of games that I've actually been playing a lot. Tetris Attack is a... Oh, I don't want to mess this up now. It's a match 3 game. With a really cool mechanic, you're actually rotating the blocks. So there's all kinds of gameplay mechanics and ways to match 3. It's a really fantastic game. Ren and Stimpy in Space Cadet Adventures. It's not great. It's a platformer. The graphics are actually not bad. Definitely retains like that old 90s Ren and Stimpy cartoon feel. It's like made by THQ. It's just kind of a generic platformer on the GameCube or Game Boy. Godzilla. I didn't have high hopes for it. When I first saw this Godzilla, I thought it was like a Japanese version. It looks a little bit different than all the other Game Boy games. I thought it might have been a different region, but pleasantly surprised that this was like a puzzle platformer. You're like climbing down vines and trying to push boulders onto bad guys' heads, and you can punch them, and it's a puzzle platformer, which makes sense for the Game Boy. I find that sometimes some games try and do too much for what the system can handle, and they try and make things too elaborate. It's the games that keep things simple on the Game Boy that tend to end up being good. Cosmo Tank. Interesting game. How would I describe this? So again, you're in like a full 3D, not full 3D environment, but you can move almost like Akari Warriors. You can move all around the map. It's like top-down perspective. You're in a little tank, kind of tank with wheels, from what I remember. Yeah, tank with wheels. And you're just kind of moving around, shooting. But when you go into caves, it switches to a first-person shooter mode, and you can kind of scroll back and shoot bad guys. That's actually pretty fun. And then there's like a shmup section too, so a really kind of elaborate game that really kind of pushed the Game Boy system. Really interesting game. Again, one that you can find real cheap. Next up is Bart Simpson's Escape from Camp Deadly. Now, I was never a huge fan of the Simpsons games. I found that like these games were fun to play just because you were a fan of the show, much like Beavis and Butthead or the Ren and Stimpy games. Rarely were they actually fun. It's kind of just a run-of-the-mill platformer with pretty bad controls and not great graphics. Pleasantly surprised with this one. Once again, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Pretty decent beat 'em up with some really good music. I was really blown away by how good the music was in this. Again, it's a run-of-the-mill beat 'em up, but then it switches. It has some platforming elements, and then it switches to like a fighting mode for boss battles. It's like a fighting game. Really cool animation of the Power Rangers coming together to form the Megazord. Is it Megazord? Let me know in the comments below. I believe it's Megazord. Really cool animation where it plays music and they all come together, and the graphics are actually pretty good. So pretty faithful to the show and a pretty good little beat 'em up. Next up is probably one of the better games in the bunch, Bomberman Game Boy, Bomberman GB. Really love this color or cover, how Bomberman's dressed as Indiana Jones. That's one of my favorite Game Boy colors, Game Boy covers actually. Great game. Excellent game of Bomberman. It's a really good game on the Game Boy. I'm a huge Bomberman fan. Again, I put that on my SNES Classic. I love playing Bomberman with the kids. I can't remember if it has this a link yet. Oh, it's enhanced for Super Game Boy, which is cool. Actually, so is Power Rangers. I gotta check that one out for the enhanced version. Bomberman is enhanced. I can't remember if it has link for multiplayer though. Next up is technically a Game Boy Color game. I still consider these Game Boy games because you can play them on the Game Boy. So this is Shadowgate Classic. This is an old school point and click RPG. It's like one of the ones that'll say like fight, run, open, like the really old school RPGs. PC based RPGs is kind of where those originated from. And it seems pretty good. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but graphics are pretty good. It looks like one of those old RPG games. And probably my favorite game in this bunch. Extremely happy to get this one. Kirby Star Stacker. I've put probably the most time into this one, more so than any other game in this stack, and probably top 10 overall on the Game Boy. This is actually a match 2 game with some really interesting puzzle mechanics. I mean, most puzzle games are pretty similar, but I find that Kirby Star Stacker and Tetris Attack kind of distinguish themselves enough to make them pretty darn fun games to play. And again, I love puzzle games on the Game Boy, so Kirby Star Stacker, highly recommend you pick that one up. Again, not super expensive. This one I see has a $10 price tag on it. That's probably what it goes for right now. That is it for this episode of the Game Boy Quest. Huge thank you to JellyBelly_MK1 on Instagram, Matthew, and Corey Zamer, who's a great guy, who's helped me out twice now. So thank you so much, Corey. Check out Corey's channel in the description below. Check out JellyBelly_MK1 on Instagram. And if you're interested in a shirt like this, check out Scoreless Printing. I'll post a link to their Facebook page in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for a What I'm Playing video coming up in probably a day or two. I've played some really interesting stuff, so stay tuned for that. And thank you again for watching. Until the next episode.